On to the cabinet.
James Gichuru would hold the fort and step down for Jomo Kenyatta during critical times in Kenya's struggle for independence from British colonial rule.
And as a result of his loyalty, Kenyatta would always have a special regard coupled with government position for Gichuru.
Tonight in our Monday segment, the cabinets will focus on the late James Gichuru.
Born in 1914 in Dogoto, Kiambu, his parents were among the first Kenya Africans to become Christians, having been converted at Church of Scotland Mission, Kikuyu. Gichuru chose to follow his father's footsteps and trained as a teacher at Makerere, where he graduated in 1934 with a diploma in education. He returned to teach his alma mater, Alliance High School, before later on becoming the headmaster of Church of Scotland Mission School in Kikuyu. Some of the students he taught at Alliance included Jackson Angaine, Oginga Odinga, Charles Jonjo, Jeremiah Nyaga, and Ronald Ngala. By now, Gichuru had developed an interest in politics in 1944. He, Harry Thuku, Francis Hamisi, Joseph Otiende, and W.W. Awori set up a new party, the Kenya Africa Study Union, KASU, whose name would later be changed to Kenya Africa Union, with Gichuru as the party president. In September 1946, Gichuru resigned as KAU president in favor of Jomo Kenyatta, who had returned to Kenya after living in England for a number of years. In 1951, Gichuru quit teaching and entered government service as chief of Dagoretti, but would not last long as chief. The position was short-lived. On October 20th, 1952, the colonial governor, Sir Evelyn Baring, declared a state of emergency throughout Kenya in an effort to contain the Mau Mau rebellion against British colonial rule. KAU was banned and Kenyatta and other freedom fighters were arrested, tried, convicted, jailed, and later detained for a number of years. Gichuru and Otiende were some of the former KAU leaders whom the colonial government placed in movement restriction order. By the time the restriction order was rescinded in 1959, some of the measures his old party KAU had fought for had been achieved. They were now 14 elected African members of the Legislative Council, LegCo, and soon the colonial government would allow Africans to set up new political parties. Gichuru became interim president of one of the new parties, the Kenya African National Union, KANU, on the understanding that he would stand down for Kenyatta upon release from detention. Kenyatta was released in 1961 and took over as president of KANU. In the 1961 general election, Gichuru stood for the Limuru seat rather than his home constituency of Kikuyu. He was elected MP unopposed. He would later accompany Kenyatta as he led KANU delegates to the Second Constitution Conference at Lancaster House in London to work out the final touches to Kenya's progress to independence. In May 1963 general election, Gichuru was again elected unopposed for the Limuru parliamentary seat. Elsewhere, KANU had a resounding victory, winning 83 of the 124 seats in the House of Representatives. On June 1, 1963, when Kenyatta became the first Prime Minister of Kenya, he appointed Gichuru Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development. In 1964, Gichuru presented a bill for the House of Representatives to ratify the provision to establish the African Development Bank. Towards the end of Kenyatta's tenure, Gichuru was the Minister for Defense and retained the position when Moi took over as president. He developed health problems from the early 1970s and died in August 1982. Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Jackie Wambiru.